It's, this is a national problem with a local solution. So us investing in the existing programs and making sure that those thrive as well is just as important, because there might be a program nearby that they may or may not be aware of. So getting involved with that local program, making sure it's well supported, and support does not always mean monetary donations. It's, volunteering on advisory boards, hosting students to your local business if it is a business in the industry. So we want to make sure that programs that exist are, they stay open and are well supported, and again, graduating properly trained students ready for entry-level employment, to help that local market with that pipeline of people that they need.
Excellent.
Brandon, that's huge. Obviously, getting someone with that brand and stature involved draws a lot of attention. Piggybacking this, because you said something a few minutes ago that really hit me, which is that this is a national problem with local solutions, which, although true, is scary, right? Because it's always difficult coordinating many small things instead of one big thing. Knowing that, are there any localities across the country that you're aware of where you would look at and say there's really something special going on, in this little pocket of the country or with this little organization, saying that like they've got it, they're really moving the needle?
Great question, Matt. And there's a great example that resonates and showcases what that local involvement can do. And it is where, like I mentioned before, the company ICAR, I-CAR, they are an international training organization, amongst other things within this industry. And they have volunteer committees around the country, which basically, in major markets, they'll have a bunch of industry representation, or representatives from the different, companies that basically take off their corporate hats and they come together for the benefit of helping out that local area. And to kudos to ICAR, not only for them being one of our largest contributors and donors, but they've basically directed these volunteer groups to get more involved with us to help out local schools. So some of these committees, and the one I can kind of use as an example to what you're asking for, Matt, because there's some recent success stories about it, is the Atlanta ICAR committee. They come together every year and they do golf fundraisers and things like that, where the money that's raised at those events, it comes to CREF, but it sits in a restricted account to where only the funds that they raise will go back into the Atlanta area. So the funds that they raise aren't going over to California or someplace else. So there's a school, Maxwell High School of Technology. It's a high school in the greater Atlanta area. They came in several years ago and showcased, yes, we're all members of the industry. Yes, some of us are competitors, but we want to see your program succeed. So they sat down with that school administration and said, we're here to help, but you have to meet us halfway. We're not going to do all the work, but we want to see you invest in the program as much as we can invest. And when they went in there and did things like, Derek, like you said, brand new epoxied floors, fresh coat of paint on the walls, making sure that they have the right tools, equipment, and supplies, the enrollment at that school doubled. So they used to have 40 students and 50 students. That program now has close to 150 to 200 students. So I guess that's a little bit more than double. Wow. My math obviously escaping me there. And the students were starting to place, I'm sure you both are familiar with Skills USA. Is that fair? You guys are familiar with them?
I was going to ask you about that. So yeah, go on.
Yep. So their students started to, again, through that involvement, making sure they have the right tools, they're attracting, more students to the program. Their students were starting to place higher at the state level. Some of them were going to, I think, to the national competition as well for collision repair or finishing. So in terms of if you actually invest in working with the schools, again, it doesn't always involve monetary donations. There's other opportunities to help get involved, serving on their advisory boards, things like that. You can see impact like that and use that as an example. If we can copy paste around the country, and there's a lot of other very active committees with us, volunteer committees, like I said. So what we're trying to do is, we don't need to be this huge staff. We can also work and engage with these local volunteers. It's kind of like the grassroots level of involvement that we can see with these programs to help these programs thrive, be successful, attract more students, and there's a better quality students coming out of them ready for industry employment.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Derek. Get him on the line.
I know. I've got to get him on the blower right now. Yeah, right after I get in contact with Mookie Betts.
Yeah.